Hey, how's it going? What do we have?
We have a pottery duck from Colima, Mexico.
All right, Pops, you know anything about ducks from Colima, Mexico?
A little bit. You liked rubber duckies when you were a kid. Filled the bathtub up with them. He had a blast with them when he was like 3.
I'm at the pawn shop today to sell my old pottery duck. I got the duck from an antique shop in Scottsdale, Arizona, and ever since then, just weird things, happening around the house, and couldn't figure out what it was until everything started falling around the duck. So that's why I'm looking to sell it. I'm asking $4,000 for the duck because it looks pretty old. I mean, it does have magic powers.
I actually think it's kind of cool. It looks old. It looks like the pottery they made, like a couple thousand years ago. The indigenous people of Mexico were incredible artists when it came to pottery.
So, I mean, what do you think it was used for? Were you supposed to drink out of it or something?
It was probably something ceremonial. They truly believed that the animals, after you passed away, they would guide you to the next world. So that's why they did a lot of pottery with animals.
What religion is the duck in?
Probably an ancient religion that doesn't exist anymore.
Ever since I've had it, it's just some weird things have been happening around the house.
Well, what kind of weird stuff happens?
Well, things like fall off the shelves. I hear weird noises.
I'm gonna go ahead and say it's probably not the duck's fault.
Now, the craftsmanship's amazing. You can still see, whereas in the kiln, burn marks and everything on the bottom. So it went into a kiln like this, and it came out with those beautiful finishes on it. I mean, if you looked at this from 3 or 4 feet away, it looks like wood. I mean, that's how beautiful they did it. I think it's kind of amazing. How much are you looking to get out of this?
About 4,000.
Okay, it's got me intrigued because it could be very, very old. But it's in incredible condition, which is kind of scary. Because usually there's chipped and, if it's 2,000 years old, like, you have kids playing with it and everything.
Any place you go in Mexico, there's like, counterfeit versions of stuff like this.
I'd like someone to look at it, if you don't mind.
I don't know.
Can you give Bob a call? I have a friend who will know a lot about this. All right?
Hang on, I'll be back in a little bit, okay?
I'm hoping the expert can value it to my asking price because I want to get rid of it.
What's up, Bob? How you doing?
Hi there, how are you? That is quite the duck. I can tell you a couple things about it. 2,000 years ago, they made animals to go into a tomb, and they'd lay the body and they'd place these animals around. All of the animals that they would put in the tomb had a function. They'd be companions, they'd be spirit guides, but most of them were to be eaten in the afterlife. A big fat duck like this was going to be somebody's dinner in the afterlife. It would have only gone to somebody fairly important. And this form, very rare. Can I take a look at it?
Yeah, go right ahead.
One of the things that I'm noticing, it's got the burnishing lines, so they would use a stone, and they would polish this extensively before it would go in the kiln. Got nice manganese blooms, but I see a repair here. I see that there are repairs in the body. They're almost invisible, so whoever restored this, they did a fabulous job.
So you think this is 100% real?
Yeah, 100% real, 300 BC to 300 AD, ancient.
So what's it worth?
It's authentic, it's old, it's rare, it's stunning. 8,000.
Okay.
You're not gonna whip out like your X-ray machine or anything on it?
I don't need to. It's got all the signs you want to see.
Well, Bob, I appreciate you coming down.
My pleasure. It's amazing to see anything that's 2,000 years old, but it was in a tomb that has been protected from the elements and the ages. So of all of the ancient cultures, Colima seemed to survive the best.
So you want 4,000 for it? Okay, I mean, I give you 4 because it does take a long time to sell it.
Okay, awesome.
right.
Please.
You want to go right her up?
All right, luckily I'm not superstitious, so I'll meet you up over there.
All right.
And he's going to pay her in $100 bills.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good.
What do we got?
I have an antique 1765 medical book. It's one of the first important psychiatry books of that era, and it was written by the physician to King George.
Okay, it's about psychiatry, so I'm sure that everything in this book is completely wrong.
From 250 years ago, probably, yes. I'm looking to sell my 1765 antique medical book written by the physician to King George, Robert White. It was an important book about psychiatry for its time, and I would like to get this into the hands of somebody who would really appreciate it. There's some wear to the covers, but for being 250 years old, it's in very nice shape. I came prepared to negotiate, but I'm pretty confident the book is worth $2,500.
This is definitely cool. So where did you get it?
I bought that at a thrift store.
No matter what it's worth, since you got it from a thrift store, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be worth more than what you paid for it.
I hope so. I hope I did well.
Do you mind if I open it up?
Not at all, please.
Okay. What are these on the front?
This is the armorial bookplate of Sir Archibald Grant of Money Musk Bar. And in his day, he was quite a collector of antique books. So coming from his collection with his bookplate in there is kind of neat. And then the second one is the Dr. John Farquhar Fulton. And Fulton is a renowned neuroscientist.
So what are you looking to do with it?
I would like to sell it today.
Okay, any idea what you're looking to get out of it?
$2,500.
Okay, I know that medical books can be highly collectible, but I would be insane not to call a friend of mine down to take a look at this because I have no idea what it could be worth. Do you mind hanging out for a few and having her come down?
No, that would be great. I'd be interested to learn a little bit more about it.
Okay, well, hang out and I'll be back in a few, okay?
Thank you. I feel confident about an expert. I would like to know more about the book, but I think it's a strong book.
Well, we have a old book on psychiatry. Sounded like something up your alley.
I'm glad you called me down. Can you tell me a little bit about it?
I can. It's a 1765 antique medical book, and it's written by Robert White, the physician to King George.
Okay, so Robert White, he was one of the great medicine practitioners in 18th century Edinburgh. Psychiatry as a discipline doesn't really become a thing until about a century later. So he is really doing trailblazing work here.
Okay.
And the main thing that he talks about in this book is the physical effects that you can have for nervous disorders.
So what do you think about the condition of it?
The condition actually is quite nice. I mean, you can see that there's wear around the joints and things, but this is probably the earliest binding that was put on that book. And, you know, it's still intact, it's still usable. So could I have you show me this book in a little bit of detail? Very nice. And I see these book plates here. Okay. So the first book plate, the big armorial book plate, Scottish politician, very appropriate for this book. But then below it, we have John Fulton's book plate. When I first see that, I go, ooh. So John Fulton, he was a historian who studied the history of science and published on it. He donated his book collection to the Yale Medical Historical Library. So when I see the book plate of John Fulton, my first thought is, shouldn't that be at Yale? But I see that there's an inscription here, and it's mentioning he's gifting it to someone who donated Jonathan Knight's copy of this edition to the Yale Medical Historical Library. So because this person donated their copy, Fulton didn't need to donate his copy to you.
That's
So
great.
You didn't steal it.
I did not. I did not steal the book.
Congratulations.
Did not.
Well, I guess the big question is what do you think it's worth?
So this book is very findable in institutions across the world. So it's not incredibly rare, but it's a good book, it's an important book, and the provenance is great. So I would put the price somewhere around $3,200.
Okay, well, I appreciate you coming down.
Happy to help.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I gotta say, this rarely ever happens, but you came in and you asked for $2,500, and I'm more than comfortable giving you that. So, you wanna make a deal at $2,500?
We have a deal. We have a deal.
One condition.
All right.
What'd you pay for it at the thrift store? $1?
$1.
Oof. Right around the corner, someone will write you up.
Thank you so
Thank you very
much.
much.
I was actually a bit disappointed because I came to negotiate today, but since I got the price I was asking, I'm thrilled.
Okay, what do we got here?
Well, we have a collection of rare skateboards. These are signed by all professionals.
I brought both my older sons to the emergency room multiple times because of skateboards.
Yes. I'm here to sell a collection of really rare skateboards. Powell Andy Anderson, a Team Zephyr skateboard, a signed J. Adams classic skateboard, an original Lester Kasai, and a Liquid Death Tony Hawk infused blood skateboard. These skateboards are rare because they're sold in limited quantities, and when you get them signed, makes the value go up. My asking price would be $7,650 for all 5.
This is pretty cool. Okay, so this is a professional skateboarder.
Yes. We have an original Sims Lester Kasai.
Okay, and
This one is Liquid Death. This board was made specifically for Tony Hawk.
everybody knows about Tony Hawk. It's art. Okay, I'll just
art.
leave it at that, yeah. More professional skateboarders?
Yeah, this is an original Zephyr board. Jeff Ho, he was one of the original Zephyr team members.
Okay, and then Z-Flex J-Boy Classic.
Jay Adams, he was just downright gritty skater.
And this is like your heavy metal skateboard?
This is a guy named Andy Anderson. He's a relatively new skater, and this is his personal rider.
Okay. So you just collected these over the years, bought them off people?
I live in Huntington Beach, and it's kind of like the skate capital. They have skateboard competitions, they have events, you know, and they show up, you bring your boards, they sign it.
Okay. You know, for a long time, you know, there's been collectible skateboards. There's been really famous artists that done skateboards. And I know there's a market for them. The problem is I have no idea what the market is.
Definitely market.
So you're looking to sell these.
Yes.
How much you want for them?
$76.50.
$76.50?
You're funny.
So you're looking for $7,650?
Yes.
All right. There's a guy I know who knows a lot more about this than I do. Let me get him over here. He'll look at them. I'll get his opinion on it, and we'll go from there.
Sure.
Okay, right back.
All righty.
Wow, it looks like you got a nice collection here.
They're all this young man's.
Hey,
I know this
nice
OG.
collection.
He's an OG.
Well,
You guys know each other?
I know him through
No.
magazines.
Well, I've been around for a while, so I appreciate the acknowledgement. Thanks, man.
Old school.
What would you like to know about these?
I don't know any about this stuff, and you do, so that's why you're down here.
Well, do you mind if I examine these decks a little closer?
You're the professional.
Well, this deck right here in particular is an Andy Anderson deck. Okay, well, the signature looks right. Andy does that. He makes these little faces on the decks and stuff. And what's the story on this one?
That's the original seat.
Well, I know Jay very well. Unfortunately, he passed away, so I'm seeing that it's got a
Right.
2014 there. When was it signed by Jay?
That was during that classic event they had at Venice Skate Park,
Okay.
2014.
All right, well, so this deck would be just another version of Jay's decks, but since it has the date that he passed away, I think it has a little more gravitas than normal. So this particular deck right here, it's a Zephyr, and it looks like it's signed by Jeff Ho and some of the other team members. The signatures do look authentic. This right here, Liquid Death, Tony Hawk's board. They released 100 of those decks with blood-infused ink, infusing his blood, and that's what gives it a little more of a collectible desire.
Okay.
Now we come to the Lester Kasai deck. As you can see at the bottom, it says Mini. They were trying to design a deck that was for the kids. It's got all the original stickers on it, which gives it the provenance that I'm looking for on that.
So the big question, what are they worth?
Lester Kasai, 900. The Thirst Liquid Death model, 1,300. The Zephyr, I would be comfortable at 1,000 on that. And the Z-Flex, 300. And the Andy Anderson deck complete, $750.
So you'd say $4,200 for the package.
Yeah, that would be your retail number.
Okay. All right. Thanks, man. You're the best.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much. You did a great job. Nice collection.
Pleasure meeting you.
Thank you.
See you, man.
Take care.
His price a little bit different than your price.
Right.
I'd give you $2,500 for him.
Okay.
We got a deal?
You got it.
All right, sweet. I'll meet you right up front, and I'll get you paid.
Great. Thank you.
Maybe I'll take up a new sport. What do we got here?
Hello. Got a pretty old comic book to show you.
1933? It's definitely old because my kids think I'm really, really old. It's older than me.
I'm here at the pawn shop to try and sell my Famous Funnies comic book. It's a no-number giveaway edition from 1933. It's arguably the second comic book ever, so it's a very important book in the history of comics. I'm hoping to get $1,000 for my Famous Funnies comic book.
That's kind of cool. Where did you get this?
I do like shows and stuff, travel around, and I buy collections now and then.
This has got to be one of the oldest comic books there is, right?
Yes, the label says it's the second comic book ever.
The second comic book ever.
Because this is like considered a no-number comic. It doesn't have an issue number. Famous Funnies #1 came out after it in 1934, I believe.
Is there any characters in this book that we'd recognize today?
I think it's basically a compilation of a lot of the newsprint characters.
Okay, I mean, before comic books, you know, you had the comic strips in the newspapers, and they weren't called the Funnies, but everyone just called them the Funnies. You know, and like my dad, he would love to read the Funnies. That's what he called them. I mean, like, I've never seen a comic book from 1933. I didn't even know comic books were printed in 1933. I wish I knew more about this. It predates everything. So how much you want for it?
I'm asking $1,000.
Okay. And I have no idea if that's a good price.
Fair enough.
Okay. But I have a buddy who I deal with all the time. I do a lot of business with him, and this is all he does is comic books. Can you hang out for a while?
Sure.
All right. I'm gonna go give him a call, and I will be right back.
Sounds good.
Hey, Todd.
Steve, good
to see you.
All right, you guys know each other?
Yes,
we
yes.
do.
Well, the comic world's quite small.
It's like the pawn business. Yeah. All right, so this young man has apparently the second comic book ever made.
Wow. Nice book, Todd. Famous Funnies Carnival of Comics. This book was a giveaway. The way you got it was you had to tear the top off a cereal box and send it all the way into a little company in Chicago. And then you would get this book. As you can see, it's 1933, so we know it's right there at the cusp. So this here is the beginnings of the entire industry right here in our hands.
And is that the second comic book?
Amongst the comic nerds, they often discuss whether it's the first or second, because this is the first book of this format. 36 pages with the full pages of art. This was basically a test to see if anyone would be interested in this. So after all these people, all these kids went to the trouble of sending all in, after that, they said, well, I think maybe we can make some money doing this. So in 1934, when Famous Funnies came out, they actually sold it for 10 cents. And that's when the entire business does this. So this here is definitely a wonderful piece of history.
All right, the big question. He wants $1,000 for it.
That's actually not a bad price.
Okay, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Todd?
Thank you, Steve.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Okay, I mean, we have the rare occasion where someone comes in and asks a reasonable price.
I appreciate that.
I'll give you $1,000 for it.
Okay.
Deal, $1,000.
Thank you.
All right, I'll meet you right over there, and I'll get you paid.
Thank you.
What do we have here?
Well, it's an old emergency pack.
And it's from the Boy Scouts of America. I mean, I had fun when I was in Boy Scouts. You basically had your whole Batman utility belt going on.
I decided to come to the pawn shop today to sell my vintage Boy Scout first aid kit. Some of the things are missing in it, and I know that's probably going to bring the value down. I'm hoping to get $60 for it. I'll go down to 40.
So where did you get this?
It's from my father's attic. He passed away a couple of years ago, so it has a lot of meaning to me, but we just need money right now.
At one point in American history, just about every boy in the United States was a Boy Scout. I mean, it was a really, really popular thing.
My brother was in the Boy Scouts. He loved it.
These organizations started because they wanted boys to have a moral compass. A lot of kids were moving from rural situations to city situations. They believed it was a lot easier to lose your way in the big city. That was basically the role of Boy Scouts. Moral compass and idle hands are the devil's workshop. The Boy Scouts of America was founded back in 1910, and now it's one of the biggest youth groups in the country. They've had over 100 million members. Do you know anything about it?
Not really.
Do you know what year it is?
In the book on there, it says 32.
Okay. I can almost guarantee you this is pre-war.
How can you tell?
Because this was a factory that could stamp metal. When World War II started, they stopped making these and started making something else for the government. So after World War II, it would look completely different, I'm sure. One neat thing about Boy Scout stuff is it's real collectible. The really expensive Boy Scout stuff is literally right around 1910. I mean, when it first started, that's the really rare stuff. That's the stuff that's hard to get. There's literally tens of millions of former Scouts out there. So there is a market for this piece. It's not a super high-ticket item, but I'm definitely interested in picking it up. It looks like all you have here that's original is the case and the manual. Everything else we got in here is newer stuff. But the cool parts are original.
Yeah, the
book
can and yeah.
and the can.
Yeah.
What do you want to do with it?
I want to sell it.
So how much do you want for it?
60 bucks?
Normally I'd argue with you, but that's like the dollar figure I got in mind, so 60 bucks.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, I'll meet you right over there.
Okay, thank you. I'm very happy they had agreed to $60. That's what I asked for, and that's what I got, so I'm very happy.
All right, I'm intrigued. What do we got here?
I have here Shonuts indoor golf game from the 1920s.
Oh, I'm probably the best golfer you ever met.
Really? What's your handicap?
I'm Scratch.
Oof, that's pretty good.
Scratch mini golf.
He fell out of a tree on his head. That's his handicap.
I got the golf game from my grandmother. I inherited it when she passed away. I'd played with it once or twice before, but mainly I saw it on the wall or in its box. If I end up making a sale today, I'm gonna buy an actual set of golf clubs.
These are pretty cool.
Yeah, I know at one point Shonuts was like the largest toy manufacturer in the world.
Yeah.
And they were the ones that actually invented indoor mini golf, where they have the big windmill you gotta shoot through. So when was it made?
1920s.
Okay. So are these all the pieces here?
Yeah. You got your golfers, some golf clubs, balls, some hazards, the tee, and well, what's left of the original box.
Okay. Do you know how to play it, or?
Yeah, you take a club, you put it in their hand, you lock it in there, and then you pull a trigger and swings and hits the little ball off the tee.
Makes sense.
They look like they've been played with a lot. They're not in horrible condition, but
yeah,
looks like a family got mini game nights out of this.
Looks pretty good for being 100 years old, about.
So what are you looking to do with it?
Looking to sell it.
What are you looking to get out of it?
Looking to get 500 bucks.
Okay, I mean, it's possible. As far as condition goes, obviously they're not pristine, but does that matter if they're 100 years old? I don't know. So I'm gonna have to have a buddy of mine come down and take a look at it. I'll tell you what, I'll give him a call. You wanna hang out, chum?
Yeah.
Don't break anything?
So you're a Scratch indoor mini golf player, huh?
Yeah. I scratched it off my list. I don't play it anymore.
Steve, how's it going, man?
Hey, Corey, how you doing?
Appreciate you coming down.
How you doing?
Shonuts miniature golf set.
This is really cool. Shonut, we're really known for making kids' pianos. That's really kind of how they came out. And the technology for this was actually pulled from that. So it's cool. Take a look at it if you don't mind.
Yeah, please.
So it looks like you've got the hazards, you've got the tee box. That's cool. And you got 3 golfers. Now, the set initially only came with 1 golfer. And then you would add on pieces. It was really the way where they continued to get you to buy things. This is really neat, that the scorecards here, and you have quite a few of them. This is something that, you know, as soon as you got this home, you burned through this. You'd play as many rounds as you possibly could, and you'd use them all up, and they'd be gone, and then you'd have to make your own. What's really interesting here is this specific one. So you have a female golfer. Her name was Sissy Lofter. Women weren't golfing at the time, but when mini golf came out, women really got involved. Early on, you would get her, but she wasn't very popular. So she kind of started to disappear a little bit. So she's a little tougher to find than maybe some of the other golfers that they offered.
All right, what do they go for?
Well, you know, I've seen these things, the pristine ones go upwards of like $3,000, $4,000. Complete sets, nice boxes, great paint on your golfers. It's got a lot of the extra parts and pieces, and it does have the scorecards. I think you'd have no problem getting $900 for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Steve, man, you're always the best. Appreciate you coming
Thank
down.
Thanks. Chum,
All right.
see you later.
See you next
Good luck,
time.
man.
Thank you.
See you on the golf course.
Well, you know, man, it doesn't happen very often, but you came in asking for $500. I think it's fair that I make $400 on it. It's gonna take me a year to sell it. So I'll give you the $500 you asked for.
You know what? I'm not gonna press my luck. 500 sounds great.
Deal. Chum will write you up over there.
All right.
I'll meet you at the counter over there. What's up, sissy?